Today I'm gonna be showing you how to get your JellyFin server set up, as well as get the Flex client tool to start playing media or downloading media to that server. Right, go ahead and get that installed. And this is basically the tool that we're going to be using. To install. Okay. And if you go here, it will already tell you the install process. You can go ahead and like follow this, go to this. You can just basically follow it. But I'm going to show you how to do it regardless. mpv. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a folder just so when we do download movies, we'll put it in this folder path, in this directory. And what does it say? Okay, yeah. Next, next. Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. Go and let that install. Okay, still not installed, so we do have to install it. Hopefully that works. So we can finally get that done with. Okay, completed. Now it's right here. Now if you click this, it's not going to work. Mainly because this. Okay, why is it still up? Mainly because this is the server and not the application. You can always go down to the bottom where it says show hidden icons, and then right click and then open JellyFin. And this is basically just gonna open up in your web browser. Yes, allow, allow, allow. Okay, it worked. Now it's basically gonna make you create your account, and make sure you remember your password because you're going to need that, right? And that is very important. So let's see. Let's actually put this. Don't like how this is in here. CW. Yeah, you know what we could do? Let me go ahead and close that and open it again, just so we can get Ubuntu. Just because I'd rather work with this. But it's good to remember that file path. Okay, so okay, we got nothing here. Let me go ahead and make a directory. You don't have to do this, but I'm just doing it just for, you know, organization's sake. CD into there. All right. Oh, and then this is basically my directory. All right, we're in the repos. All right, clear that. Let me see if JellyFin's done installing. Connection flare. me go ahead and close it and try to open it again. There we go. Okay, finally. Server name, English, yes. Password. Yeah, let's go. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a folder. We're gonna title it movies, display movies, yes, folder. Now this is where I made that previous folder. Let me see, and I put it in. Okay, so we're gonna go to users, CG, desktop, and then movies. Right? There's basically this file path right here. Right? We're gonna put our movies in that folder. So go ahead and just fill out the rest of this stuff. I'm gonna walk you through it, but it's not necessarily you can do this on your own. It's not necessarily complicated. I will get down here. I'll show you what you might want. So this one, no internet metadata. You can go ahead and click that. No, we don't need that. Automatically add to collection. Yeah, sure, we can do that. Okay. No. This I'll enable that. Just go ahead and enable all this. We don't need that. Alright, boom. Now we have that. English, yes, next, and then finish. And then right. CJ the King does not. Oh, that's right. It's not. It's just the. There we go. Okay. Boom. Now we got our JellyFin server set up. Now what we're going to do is get the Flix client tool set up. So I think first, since this is a new, actually let me run this first. Let me do sudo app update. I think that's wrong. Right, and then let's go ahead and do. We're gonna go ahead and create an environment variable. Python 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and install this. I knew we had to install something, but I didn't know the exact command, so yeah. So we're gonna need to install a couple things before we can even get this tool to work. specifically just for our environment. Alright, next we're going to install actually no sudo app install pipx. Then we're going to use pipx to install poetry. And honestly, while that's installing, we can go ahead and just open up another terminal. Okay, not that. Let's go ahead and open the Ubuntu. And what I'm going to do is create an environment. You kind of need a virtual environment to run any of these things just so it doesn't mess up your global environment. And then we're going to run this command to activate it. That's, is this finished installing? Okay, and then we can run pipx ensurepath. Okay, we're ready to go. And now we're going to get to the actual juicy part where we're going to, okay, wow, I didn't, okay. Damn it, stop doing all that. Basically gonna install this. So let me just copy this path. We're gonna run git clone, paste that. Oh, they updated this GitHub. This was not here before. Okay. Then we're gonna cd into that GitHub directory. Run poetry build. Okay. Did I not? Okay, I guess I didn't install the correct poetry. go. Actually, let me go ahead and okay. Here we go. Here, this is a different GitHub. It's telling you to clone than what I did. I'm gonna see if the one I cloned still works with it, but if not, I'd probably recommend you just use this GitHub and clone this one instead than what I did. But we will see if it works regardless. Alright, so let me go ahead and run this. We need to open up PowerShell. Actually, I think I could do it through here. So instead of doing that, yeah, we got this. We can do this set execution policy, execute policy. Go. Then yeah. All right. Now let's just finish the rest of this stuff. All right. Now it should be installed in our path. Hopefully. Okay. Okay, so it does work. Okay, I guess. All right, so I have an older version. Okay, I do not want to download this actually. So let's go ahead and stop that. I guess the action changed. So you actually have to specify if you want to download the action. I don't know if play works. If it works like that. It might not work with play. Because my mpv just for some reason doesn't want to work with it. But I mean, mind you, I'm only making this tutorial simply for the downloading process. So let's just do that. Okay, live base. Okay, not supported. So it's basically gonna download it to this destination, right? It's gonna download it in it. You can always change it in the config files. It even says it in the. It even says it down here. Like you can change it in dldir and just change the directory inside the config file. I'm not going to do that because I don't really need to. I can just always move it. But actually, let me just alright. But basically, that's how you get the Flex client tool set up. I'm not gonna need this no more. I'm gonna go ahead and power off the machine. Mine's older version, so mine doesn't really necessarily work like that. Mine is still mine still works with just play. Actually, I don't even have mine still works like that, but actually let me get a new window and basically show you this is the essentially this is the Python file I use to scrape data, and then I will show you basically the automation script I use to basically scrape all that. So this is the script to basically, you can run this, and you might actually have to update this script if you are going to download the new Flex tool and just change the action. Right now I have it, let me see. Right now I have it run the command download. In fact, you might just, if anything, you are going to basically change that to what? Okay, actually, let me not change that. Instead, let me just make it a comment. Instead, you're probably just gonna run this and just change the command a little bit. Movie. Let's go here. So yours is probably gonna run like this: Flix-cli, movies, action, download, and that's probably the command you're gonna change. I'll leave it in there. I'm probably not gonna add this to my GitHub. I'll just, if you want, I'll put the files in my Discord, and you can always just use it. But essentially, all this really doing is taking. I scrape a bunch of movies into a JSON file. This one specifically is just going to take the title and the year, combine them, and then basically just automate the process so you don't have to do anything. And this is basically what I've downloaded so far, like movies wise, like this, before it stopped because my PC went inactive after a while. But that's basically where I'm gonna leave the tutorial. I just made it specifically for downloading. I wasn't getting the process to play, but honestly, I'm doing it on a virtual machine. It should be more easier for yours when you get the mpv player download or installed. It's always gonna have a problem with mine for this fucking virtual machine. It's just simply just not gonna really configure properly. But I mean, that's gonna be it for the tutorial.